his motto was, get big or die trying. And that's really the model he lived by.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
Anadrol and Diazide to carb load 1 or 2 days prior to a contest.
I always love when people try to recreate the wheel. So you're taking the Anadrol because it makes you full. You're going to take the Diazide because it's going to take the water out of you. What you're going to probably just be is flat. Okay. How about you don't use Anadrol or Diazide 3 days before a show? How about you just use a half a Diazide or the night before the show? And you just carb up, you'll probably look a lot better. Whenever you start doing kooky shit like that, that's when things go wrong. Most guys are taking Trenbolone anyway, which is going to make you carb tremendously well. And halotestin is a much better alternative to Anadrol because it gives you the same fullness and it has no water retention associated with it because it doesn't aromatize. So halotestin 20 milligrams a day the last 2 weeks, way better. If you're on Trenbolone, the halotestin is kind of overkill. Look, we do both anyway, just for good measure, but really you can get away with one or the other. There's no reason to do Anadrol 3 days before a show and then have to take Diazide for 3 days and over dehydrate yourself. Silly, silly, silly. All you're looking to do is mess up when you do stuff like that. That's one of the things when you hear me say don't do kooky shit the week of a show or the week before a show, that's one of the things that I wouldn't recommend doing.
He says Bostin was like a son to you. I don't know if we want to go to that extent, but I know you obviously were very close to him. Yeah. Did you ever have a chance to have a heart-to-heart before his passing? I know he was always saying stuff on that other podcast, but did you ever have a chance to have any sort of last conversation with him prior to his passing?
No, unfortunately, the answer to that's no, because the last couple of months of his life, he really was in really heavy denial of the fact that he had, he really wasn't able to take anabolics anymore. I had to talk with him, when his kidneys first started, acting up, and I told him, look, you can reverse this. I told him pretty much to the doctor, I said, just stop what you're doing, get on hormone replacement, let's clean you out. You're young, your body will recover, regenerate, and then maybe down the road, if you wanted to do some mild cycles, I think that would be good. I said, you have a son now, you're married. I said, there's no reason to be doing this. You have nothing to prove. Everyone, already knows that you have a great physique. You'll still continue to have a really good physique because you train hard and you eat right. I said, there's no reason to jeopardize your life. And he just didn't want to hear that. His motto was, get big or die trying. And that's really the model he lived by. And I've had conversations with his mom, and a lot of hours we've talked about this. And it was imagine being his mother, and she's telling him the same thing, and he's just not listening. Bostin marched to his own beat, and he did what he wanted, and he lived his life by those terms, and he died by those terms. And it's unfortunate because he had a lot to offer. He was a very smart, intelligent young man. He was articulate. He spoke about, subjects that people didn't talk about. He was one of the first people to actually, bring anabolics to light online. And he made a good living for himself. People loved the guy. I don't know why he felt the need that if he couldn't take drugs, he didn't want to be alive, but he had an addiction. And it wasn't a physical addiction. It was a mental addiction. He loved steroids and he wanted to continue taking them, and he loved to experiment on himself. And that was the sad truth of it. There's actually a new documentary that Al Jazeera did on him that's out now. I'll give you the link, Sid, to put in the description. They sent it to me. I think I'm going to have the person who produced it. Boston's mom's in it. They had some clips from RXMuscle in there, but they basically go over it's a very well done documentary. It's about 25 minutes long, and it's worth watching. But I really loved the kid. He was like a little son to me. And unfortunately, sometimes you can teach someone's a lot of information and be there to support them, but at some point they have to be their own person and make their own decisions. And he did that. Unfortunately, he passed because of an aortic aneurysm rupture. It wasn't really even his kidneys, but that's also one of the things that was he was taking stuff he shouldn't have been taking. It was raising his blood pressure, and that really wasn't great. And sometimes we just in life can't stop things from happening. And I guess this was meant to be, and maybe it was a warning. Maybe people can say, hey, look, this guy could have lived a great life, a long life, and this is a message to people out there who might have thought about doing the same things he's doing. Maybe they'll make them think of a stop and not do it, because and that's why Boston's mom put out all these documentaries. She put one out herself, and she participated in the Al Jazeera one, because she wants people to know that, look, yeah, she's not a prude by any means. Bodybuilding is great. You love bodybuilding. Do what you got to do, but don't jeopardize your health. Don't do stupid stuff. Don't do risky stuff. There's no reason there is a safe way to do it, and that's what we do on this channel. I mean, I spend hours and hours and hours every week giving you guys information that's going to allow you to make safe choices. I know you're going to take anabolics. That's part of the sport. We know you're going to eat a lot of food, and we know you're going to get big, but that doesn't mean you can't be healthy. It doesn't mean you shouldn't check your blood pressure and your blood sugars and go for your diagnostic test and get your cardiac CT scans. And, if something doesn't feel right, go to the doctor and check it out, because we all are victims of our own genetics, and myself included. Look, I had an aortic aneurysm. It had nothing to do with bodybuilding. It runs in my family. But if I hadn't gone for the diagnostic test and found it, I could have wound up like Boston. So you just don't know. And so that's why this channel is important, why you should watch it and tell your friends about it, because I'm constantly putting out good information, and I'm learning every day too. And when I learn new stuff, I teach it to you guys, because I want you guys to be healthy. There's no reason why you can't be a bodybuilder and be healthy at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. And that's the message. Like I said, if Boston's death was taught us anything, it's don't put your head in the sand and don't ignore your health just because of something in your head that tells you I want to do something and I'll do anything and risk anything to get to that point. It's not worth it.